An alarming drop off the cliff. That's how scientists have described this year's record low sea ice in Antarctica, which has triggered an emergency meeting.
As climate correspondent Isabel Ewing reports, it called for urgent policy action to cut emissions dramatically.
Antarctic sea ice usually covers an area of the Southern Ocean double the size of Antarctica, about 50 times bigger than New Zealand. This year, about 8 New Zealands are missing.
There's a very drastic decrease in sea ice coverage, and that is a concern for us scientists because we have never seen anything like that before.
Scientists from universities and research institutes across the country held an emergency summit today to address the situation. In a joint statement describing the sea ice as being well outside the observed variability of the entire satellite record of 44 years. Unprecedented, and these recent changes are deeply alarming. The layer of frozen seawater that surrounds the continent has been declining for some years, now taking a drastic dip which scientists say is driven by the warming of the Southern Ocean and the atmosphere. Sea ice is vital because it influences how oceans distribute heat, nutrients and oxygen across the globe. It supports the entire food chain, and without it, the ocean absorbs less heat and CO2 from the atmosphere.
If we're going to change how the sea ice forms, we're actually changing some fundamental aspects of the global ocean system.
In New Zealand, we'll feel the loss of the ice too.
Warming oceans can intensify precipitation events, so we might see more events like Cyclone Gabriel.
Their alarm has prompted the scientists to call for urgent policy action to cut emissions.
The planet in lots of ways will bounce back, but our cultures and our economies and our societies are going to be massively affected in the coming decades.
The scientists say the world needs examples of how it is possible to cut emissions dramatically, and that's where New Zealand could lead the way. But making the change needed to halt the melting sea ice will require all countries to work together. As Kiwis head to the poles, scientists' message is climate change will affect every aspect of our lives, and we ignore it at our peril. Isabel Ewing, Newshub.